Joining us now, Mr. Mukul Rohatgi, for his views on what this actually implies. Thanks very much for being with us. So, sir, let's go through this point by point. Firstly, what has the Supreme Court said which reaffirms the role and significance of SEBI?
The Supreme Court has delivered its judgment on several issues, the most prominent being that the Supreme Court has upheld the integrity of the investigations done by SEBI. The allegations against SEBI having a lackadaisical approach was rejected. The allegation that SEBI should create new policies or new regulations has also been rejected. The Supreme Court has said that SEBI is a body which is functioning well. There is no reason to interfere with what SEBI has done. The Supreme Court has also rejected any request for transfer of investigation from SEBI to either CBI or any other police authority by placing and reposing faith in SEBI. It also recorded that SEBI has conducted investigation in 22 out of 24 cases. Only 2 issues remain for which 3 months' time has been given. The Supreme Court has also rejected allegations of conflict of interest in the committee members, which was headed by Justice Sapre, a retired judge of the Supreme Court. And finally, and most importantly, the Supreme Court has said that you cannot place blind reliance on such kind of reports without any verification, and those reports cannot be preferred over SEBI and SEBI's investigation. So in a nutshell, all the pleas raised by the petitioners against the Adani Group and against SEBI have been categorically rejected.
Mr. Rohatgi, one of the key points which has been mentioned is that the reliance on third-party reports has been rejected, that a third-party organization report without any verification cannot be relied upon as proof. In other words, it's not as if the Supreme Court has said that you can't bring or you cannot refer to third-party allegations, but they have to have a certain basis. But whatever was presented to the court was apparently devoid of that.
See, Vishnu, people have a tendency nowadays to file applications in the Supreme Court, rely upon newspaper reports, rely upon other kinds of reports. So all these reports are unverified. They come from dubious sources, and in this case it was clear that Hindenburg is a self-professed group which believes in short selling, which believes in creating upheavals in a stock market. So, these kind of reports coming from these kind of sources, are doubtful, are shrouded in various doubts, and obviously they cannot be accepted as evidence by a court, especially when you have a robust system of an authority like SEBI, which has done excellent work in the last more than 50 years. So the court was right in saying, and it is a normal practice of the court, that newspaper reports are not relied upon as a rule unless there is proper verification and evidence to support a newspaper report. So that is what the Supreme Court has done, and we have been saying from the beginning that this Hindenburg is a motivated entity which is only interested in making personal profits. It has no respect for any share market, either the investors or the companies contained therein. And therefore, I think this chapter has now come soundly to an end.
Mr. Rohatgi, the Chief Justice, the order said, the Government of India and SEBI need to look into if there was any infraction of law by the Hindenburg report on short selling, and if so, take action in accordance with law. In other words, people who've lost their money as a result of this, there needs to be some sort of justice for them.
Yeah, well, I don't think Adani Group can be held responsible for people losing money because the upheaval was created by the report. The report was completely unverified. It's unfortunate that you see sentiments play a big role in the market, and therefore I must say that the media or the newspapers, electronic or otherwise, should also be a little circumspect in publishing these reports and making it highlights and breaking news, etc. Because this really affects the investor and the market. So everybody should be circumspect. And all I can say is that this Adani Group, which has been subjected to all this investigation, has come out unscathed. And one last point I wanted to make was that the expert committee headed by Justice Sapre has made some recommendations. The court has asked the government to look at the recommendations and see whether any systems or regulations of SEBI can be strengthened. That by all means, that should be done for whatever they have to do. But this sordid chapter, according to me, should now come to an end.
A final couple of questions. There were, by the petitioners, allegations raised on the credibility of individuals in the Supreme Court appointed panel. The Supreme Court today said that those allegations are dismissed. Could you share your insight into the significance of that observation or that order from the Supreme Court?
See, I find it a normal practice for people who file so-called public interest litigations that they leave no stone unturned in making all kinds of allegations.
Yeah.
So first an allegation was made that SEBI was lackadaisical. The second allegation was that SEBI does not have a sound system. They should be directed to make new policies. The third allegation was against the members of the committee. The members of the committee are handpicked by the court, headed by a retired judge of the Supreme Court. Unless you have some credible material, you can't just go on pointing fingers merely because your allegations have been found to be untrue. This should be a lesson to people who move the court in so-called PILs. And the only thing I would add is that if it had been any other jurisdiction, including a Western country jurisdiction, such kind of claims would have been negated with a huge amount of costs. Now, because costs are not imposed by our judiciary, people take all kinds of liberties in filing all kinds of petitions which take court time, valuable court time. Courts are hard pressed for time. So much time is taken of the committee, of SEBI, of the court, and ultimately people get away just by losing a case and then they go home. So this, I think the court should start imposing heavy costs when it finds that the allegations are frivolous.
A final question. The Chief Justice said, the order said, the power to transfer an investigation must be exercised in exceptional circumstances. Such powers cannot be exercised in the absence of cogent justification. It's almost as if in this case and so many others, if you do not get justice or an answer as a petitioner in one inquiry process, you seek another one till you get something that favors you. But by making a statement like this, is the Supreme Court not reaffirming that essential point that, look, there is a process in place over here. You cannot just ask to go to any judge or any system that suits your merits or your beliefs?
See, the idea is this, that there is already a system in place by SEBI. SEBI is the market regulator to decide all these issues. So you can't just ask for a transfer of investigation to somebody else. Transfer of investigation from the body nominated by law to another body is an exceptional circumstance. Even transfer of police matters to CBI is an exceptional jurisdiction because you have local police in every state. So transfer to CBI is itself an exceptional thing. It's not normal. So here also you ask for transfer from SEBI. SEBI is a specialized body. What is the reason that you should transfer it from SEBI to somebody else? Just because you want to create, some halabaloo and keep stirring the pot, keep the melting pot going on. And you want all these things to be done. The court has reiterated the law that in matters of policy, the court does not interfere unless the policy is capricious or wholly arbitrary. Secondly, the court will not transfer investigation from the authorized body to some other body unless an exceptional case is made out. And in this case, if I may say, no case is made out at all.
All right, sir, quite categorical over there. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.